Welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drewbie Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing it to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community. This is the greatest job on earth. Doesn't matter where you come from, what background, what personality type, you can create an amazing life for yourself in sales. Now today, we're going deep because I know that when it comes to sales, one of the biggest conversations that I have is procrastination, call reluctance, just being plain old lazy, I guess, is the only way I can really explain it, other than just saying that people aren't doing the work. They're not calling the damn leads. And I can say this with 100% certainty because I am guilty of this as well. So if you're listening, don't think that, here he is preaching, he's on his high horse. No, I 100% procrastinate. And it wasn't until I started creating real strategies for reducing that procrastination, putting things in place, boundaries, consequences. It wasn't until I did those things that I actually started seeing real success and reduced the amount of procrastinating I was doing. And the number one thing that always drove me crazy as I got older was realizing that so many folks, myself included at a younger age, would say, I like the pressure. I procrastinate because when I'm under pressure, I work better, I work harder. And objectively, there may be some truth to that because in the fight or flight response, adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, all of these inner chemicals, they come to light and you start using them. And those are the things that allow you to achieve certain results that you wouldn't have otherwise. It's funny, our own bodies will get us all hopped up on chemicals so that we can do the things that we need to go do. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, when it comes to reducing procrastination and generating enough of the chemicals in your body like adrenaline and dopamine and serotonin to go and do the work, there's a couple ways that you can do that. And for me, it really starts with kind of a cliche, but how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. A lot of us start to procrastinate because as we open the door and we look at how big the job is going to be, it's overwhelming. It's easy to get overwhelmed, y'all. I mean, listen, it happens in so many different ways. You might wake up and think, I'm going to go and do this, this, and this. And then you check your bank account and a bill came out that you weren't planning on or you forgot about, or something popped up where, your car had to go to the shop and you got an unexpected expense. And that can overwhelm you. It can throw you for a whole loop. But if you just break it down into bite-sized chunks, it becomes a lot easier. It's kind of like when you look at your CRM. You got 5,000 leads that you have to follow up on, and you go, God, I can't call 5,000 people today, even if I wanted to. There's just not enough time. Okay, well, what if, of those 5,000 people, we just broke it down into, I'm only going to call the people that have not marked me as do not disturb. I know that kind of sounds crazy because we shouldn't be calling people that are marking us as do not disturb anyways, but breaking the list down, maybe it goes from 5,000 to 3,000 people. So now you've significantly reduced it almost by half. You can go even one step further. Let's talk to everyone who has come into our system within the last 30 days. Okay, now we're really dialing in. We're breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. And when you prioritize things, it genuinely, it'll lead you to getting the job done faster. It's like if I was going to, try and tackle a giant room full of laundry, what process would I use? Well, I'd probably separate it into colors first, just so that I could make sure that I didn't destroy the clothes. And then I might also look for what's a heavy object versus a light object. What's a delicate versus a towel. Segmenting these things down, breaking down the project is a simple way to alleviate the overwhelm. And by picking one piece at a time to work through, you're going to reduce your procrastination. You're actually going to have a better opportunity to get more done because you have a real process. And that's the biggest thing of all of that. If you want to reduce your procrastination, have a process that you can trust and follow because it makes it a lot easier. Next, what are your revenue generating activities? We talk about this in the Diary of a Damn Closer, but breaking it down into what are the things that actually bring you value? What is your time worth and what are you spending it on? That's how you generate a real ROI. And if you're trying to make one of your, things that are important to you revenue, well, you should probably be doing revenue producing activities, revenue generating activities like calling the damn leads, following up with those leads that didn't buy from you during the first call, creating new marketing campaigns, going out and knocking doors, having conversations, asking for referrals, creating new content. These are all revenue generating activities if done correctly. The problem is most people are just going through their day willy-nilly, no real plan, no real idea of what they're going to do. And then when they look back and they wonder, well, how come I'm not getting the results that I want? How come I'm not generating enough money? How come my bills are overdue? Well, objectively, if you looked back at where you were spending your time, you'd probably realize that some of it was not spent on revenue generating activities. Some of it was spent watching YouTube or scrolling the internet endlessly, doom scrolling for things that aren't actually generating any sort of return on your investment of the most valuable asset that you have, your time. Because you can't get more time. We can all go make more money. And when we're actually doing revenue generating activities, that's what happens. But we can't get more time. So be very intentional about where you're spending your time, what you're spending it on, and what sort of revenue it is going to generate. Because even time with your family can be a revenue generating activity because it's a reset, it's a recovery period. It's time for you to get out of the stress of your day so that when you get back into things, you'll procrastinate less because you'll be motivated, you'll be excited, you'll have that reinvigorated energy to pick up the phone and call the damn leads. That said, your family can be a great accountability tool because if you want to reduce procrastination, having accountability, having someone to check in with you is massive. I know that there are silent workspaces where you can literally go online, log in, and basically someone else who you don't know, a stranger, will be on the other end and you can both say, hey, listen, my name's so-and-so. I plan to accomplish this, this, and this over the next hour. They're going to tell you their name and what their goals are, and you literally just sit and work in silence. And you just check in on each other every once in a while just to make sure they're doing the thing they're supposed to be doing. Accountability will help you get the result. And when it comes to your family, especially, hey, what's the accountability if you don't make your 100 calls this week? Well, A, you may not be able to pay your bills, so that's definitely not something you want to deal with. But maybe you put something in place where you tell, your family member, your kid, hey, if I don't generate X amount this month, then, we're going to not be able to go to Disneyland. And what kid wants to be told that they can't go to Disneyland? That's accountability. That's holding yourself to the fire. Could also be something along the lines of, hey, if I don't make at least 100 calls a day, I'm going to go and do 25 burpees at the end of the night. For some of you, that's probably awesome. You're like, yeah, burpees is great. But others are like, burpees suck. I don't want to do burpees. So if you actually create that level of accountability and you're looking at your log and you're going, I don't want to do those burpees tonight, so I better pick up the phone and call these damn leads. Once again, simple strategies for reducing procrastination. And what I love about the Diary of a Damn Closer, part of why I created it, is because it has the slots for you to fill in and be accountable to yourself. Right in the middle of the day, it asks you, hey, what's going good? What could be better? That's self-accountability. That's you admitting that there are things that you could continue to work on and improve. And that's the beautiful thing is when we track this on a daily basis, we avoid that procrastination by writing it down and we can look back and say, hey, here's the work that I did. And it just compounds and it leads to more and more and more. And you can look back over those notes and hold yourself to say, yep, this wasn't going great, but I fixed it. I created accountability and now I'm moving forward. Have you ever set yourself a timer for a task? This is an interesting conversation I had with a client not too long ago. She was asking, well, how long is it going to take to build my website? And I told her, I said, if you give yourself a day to clean your bedroom, you'll take the day to clean your bedroom. If you give yourself an hour to clean the bedroom, you'll get the bedroom clean in an hour. What quality, what level of clean? TBD. But we know when we put a time frame on things, typically, we get them done in that time frame. So if you know you need to make 100 calls today, where are you putting that time in your calendar? And how are you making sure to say, hey, for the next 30 minutes, I'm just going to call these damn leads. And you just stay focused on that 30-minute block. And then after 30 minutes, maybe you take a break and you do something else. Like, I think the Pomodoro technique is a 20-minute working session with a 5-minute break. Then a 20-minute working session with a 5-minute break. And after you've done 4 working sessions, you take an extended break. It's a simple technique, but you set a time limit for yourself and you say, I'm committed to completing this task in this time limit. And it's funny that you'll stop procrastinating, because the more you look at the clock, the more you start asking yourself, hey, what consequence is going to occur if I don't achieve the task in this time limit? And you create accountability. You create systems and processes so that you know you can get the job done in an adequate time frame so that you don't have to face the consequences. It's kind of like simple stuff, you guys, but I cannot stress how often I have the conversation with someone who says, I have call reluctance. You know, I procrastinate when it comes time to picking up the phone and call the damn leads. And so I'll say that one of the easiest things to do to avoid procrastination is just do the hard stuff first. I know that's very cliche, to eat the frog, if you will. But truthfully, if you just get that done, it creates a massive amount of confidence in yourself. That extra energy, that dopamine, the serotonin, those oxytocins, the chemicals that flood your body when you do hard things and accomplish them. It's amazing what that does for the rest of your day. Because if you got up and you're like me and you're like, I hate working out, I don't want to go to the gym, but you just knock it out first thing in the morning and it's done, I always feel better afterwards. Sometimes, you know, when it comes to the business, there are certain calls and conversations you have to make that aren't fun. You got to tell a client that their payment failed, or you got to call and talk to someone about, you know, why their homeowner's insurance is being canceled and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's not a fun conversation. It's hard. But if you put it off and you procrastinate, a lot of times that conversation gets worse. That wound gets deeper. It becomes infected. It's you know, it's even worse. That lack of communication can even create further concerns and have someone in their own mental space. And yet, if you just call and have the conversation, I'd say 9 out of 10 times, it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be. And humans are really great storytellers. Like, we can convince ourselves of some of the wildest stuff. Our imaginations, I mean, untouched in the world of animals as a whole. And so a lot of times that procrastination is you making up stories, is you creating all of these fictitious events in your head about what could possibly happen, instead of just picking up the phone, calling the damn lead, getting the thing done. Do the hard stuff first. Get it out of the way. I promise you, it's always going to result in you feeling more accomplished, and more accomplished is more confidence, and more confidence is the ability to step up and handle anything that's put in your way. And so get it done. And for me, you know, one of the things that I use is kind of like a visual cue. Is I have a picture of my wife right here on my phone. So every time I open up my phone, I can see that's my wife and my son. That's a visual cue and a reminder that if I've unlocked my phone, I probably should stay focused. I probably shouldn't be wasting any time. And even further than that, all of the apps on my phone, which you can't see, I'm holding it up on the camera. So if you're watching on YouTube, you see it. But if you're listening, every app on my phone is in its own folder. And each of those folders is labeled with an affirmation as a visual reminder to stay on track. So anything social media related says, I am a producer, which means that I create, which means that when I'm on those platforms, I'm there to produce things, not to waste time, not to scroll, not to go goofing off. I'm there to produce. When it comes to my financial apps, I am abundant because I want to have abundance in all of my finances and all of my riches. I want to feel that abundance. And every time that I look at it, that's my visual reminder to be abundant and to have abundance all around me and to focus on that. Same thing with my health apps. I am healthy. Every time I open my phone, I look at the apps and I say, I am healthy. I am abundant. I'm a producer. And I know that if I'm going to do something within one of those folders, that's my visual cue to stay on track. Because at the end of the day, we are amazing at creating excuses. We're awesome at finding different ways to procrastinate, but none of those get us the result that we're looking for. You have to take action. You have to do the work. And I really hope that today's episode has given you some strategies for reducing that procrastination in your life. Because if you're going to sell more stuff, you got to get out there and do it. Procrastinating isn't going to be the answer. So check it out. Go through, implement one of these, and then reach out and let me know. Which one did you like? Share it on social media. Tell someone about it. Send it to a friend or a family member and let them know, hey, here's a strategy I think might work for you. Maybe it's the Pomodoro technique. Maybe it's visual cues. Who knows? But share it with someone because I know it will help. And if you've got a strategy, if you've got a story, if you've got something you'd like to share with the sales community that you think could make an impact, I want to bring you on the show. Come be a guest. Head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send us your information. Let us know what you'd like to talk. And let's have you on. I think there's amazing opportunity for so many people to share their story, and I'd like to be the place where you get to share yours. So head over to the website, send us your information. You guys know what to do from here. Pick up the phone, call the damn leads. We'll see you on the next one.